I've been doing is like the manual says. I bend it like a staple.
Yeah.
I put it in.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And then I bend it.
Oh, see, I haven't been bending the bottom.
So bend the bottom one up first. That way it's gripped, and you can just hang it. Yeah, it just makes it easier to.
The metal method. Although I'm very glad that reading instructions is metal, because not a lot of people read instructions.
Yeah. I always usually don't default until I have problems, and then once I can't figure something out, then I go.
Oh, I just don't want to wreck anything.
Yeah, no,
I'm with Pete. Yeah. I think reading instructions, even I always glance at them first.
It's okay to get the idea. Go over it just like an overview before you read details.
I'm not saying my method is the smart method. I think reading directions is very
right. I mean, get the idea first, just to see the whole picture. Like, look at the big picture and then start going in detail. And like my high school band instructor, when he gives us a new piece of music, it was like, we're just gonna plow through the whole thing at first. We're just gonna, no matter how good or how bad we do it, just go right through it.
Sight reading?
Yes, exactly, sight reading. Just get the idea of it. And then he would say details last. So that...
Sometimes that takes care of the hardest part, because sometimes the hardest part is starting.
Yeah. The thing is, details last. That way it's like you're not stuck on something for so long. Just,
I'm wondering if we can put this in the box with these still attached. If it's not going to be shipped.
I'm willing to try it.
Okay, well.
Maybe put some real bubble wrap around and,
I feel like if it's done carefully, you might be able to get away with it.
And again, it's not like I'm going to be shipping it anywhere. I mean, if I do it,
Alright, you don't need to send this back?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, that's one of my conditions whenever somebody sends me something to test. Because a lot of them will offer to pay you to do the video, and I don't want money to do the video, but I also don't want to worry about sending the fan back. And it's not because I always want to keep the fan, because most of the time it's fans I would never use anyways. I just don't want to have to worry about if something happens to it,
Yeah, liability of it.
Yeah, it's just... A lot of times when I was working at Habitat, I used to always just give them to Habitat.
Right.
But that way also, if we do like it or have a use for it, I don't want to have to send something back if we like it.
Yeah, it's possible.
Like that original that you got, the one.
Oh, that was like the latest of the imported.
The brand new original. Like that's something we actually might.
We were actually impressed with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I was there for
Were
it.
you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because he witnessed the very metal wiring.
Pete, do you know what the thumbnail for the Rick and Morty chat actually is?
No.
That was the original one. You put it up and all the wires were crammed up there. I thought it was funny.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where that came from. I absolutely.
Oh, because Pete likes to cut the wires.
Oh yeah, because if you have a short down rod.
Wait a second. Are we supposed to do a second tier of them? No, right?
No, we already have an inner tier.
There's an inner and an outer tier.
Okay,
Yep.
I just want to make sure it wasn't one like this, like we're supposed to
Oh
attach them together.
no.
Well, I mean, then there's only one hole in each.
That's what she said.
Yeah, one hole in each end of each piece here. So
We'll edit that in post.
I don't think he's ever once edited something. Maybe never.
Tried to edit out the crunching.
That's a legendary.
or death clock. Can you dial out the clanking? Because he's wearing a night suit and armor. While trying to read, and he's like, I'm trying to dial out the clanking and clattering.
So, this is kind of related, but kind of... Was that in the studio for Death Clock, or was that not in the studio?
At the studio.
So, Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
when he was in the studio, would always wear outfits covered in, like, jangly things, and he'd wear a bunch of bracelets, and he'd wear a bunch of rings, and he...
Yeah.
And when you're in the studio, you're not supposed to do that. And then you're also supposed to stand very still, because you don't want, like, you want to be the same distance from the mic consistently.
Yep.
And you want to, you don't want your movement to affect the recording.
Mm-hmm.
He could not record in the studio without dancing. So every track Michael Jackson has ever recorded, he'd be in the studio just dancing, wearing a bunch of jangly jewelry and a bunch of background noise, and that's in every track he's ever recorded. You know?
Huh.
And even though that's considered to be bad studio habits,
Just kind of worked for him.
Well, yeah, people in the going down. It kind of goes down in history about how that's just the magic of some of his tracks, you know. And so I heard this from Jimmy Jam in an interview. There's a song that Janet did as a tribute to him after he passed called "Broken Hearts Heal."
Okay.
And in that song, Janet normally has very good studio habits. She normally stays very still and very consistent with the mic and very quiet and everything like that. But when she was recording that song for what she kept snapping her fingers. And then she'd always stop the recording and say, stop, I'm sorry, I did it. And then eventually they said, don't stop the recording. You know why you're doing that is because your brother used to do that. And so she was unknowingly channeling her brother when she was recording that song. So that's kind of a cool story.
Yeah, that is cool.
Oh,
But yeah, what you're talking about with Death Clock and their bad studio habits, they have that in common with Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Although, I don't know if Rick knows this, Death Clock is not a real band, they're a fictional metal band.
Cartoon.
There's a show called Metalocalypse.
I've heard of that.
And Nia actually likes it.
Okay.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, she loves that show. I like it, but I don't like it nearly as much as Home Movies, which is another show by the same creator. The guy who created both of those, his name is Brendan Small. He's a killer musician. This will be a fun sped up video.
Oh yeah, you're gonna time lapse.
Absolutely.
I think
this is
so, that
definitely
is.
a time
Okay,
lapse
well,
camera.
I can't really reach around anymore, so I'm gonna let you guys do the rest of them.
Yeah.
Just give me an excuse. I wish I had some bigger bulbs to go in there, because those don't really, like... On the other hand, they kind of remind me of, like... Maybe like an old-time carnival or House on the Rock or something like that that would have those kind of warm
A little
incandescents.
bit, yeah.
I know, right? Yes.
I can see that.
House on the rock.
House on the Rock.
Marvelous organ.
Those organs.
Doorbells. The House on the Rock have a doorbell exhibit.
Do they or do they?
Oh,
They-
if
I
they
can't
did,
remember.
oh
They-
man.
There would be an explosion of Jonas Vortex, but no, they don't have a doorbell exhibit. But
Becker basically had
Yeah,
a
he
doorbell
Yeah.
was all
exhibit.
crazy at Becker, which is awesome. You know, I don't think I was there when he came up.
No, I
To Becker.
I sorely missed that.
no, we had to do it in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
and then we had to do it like I had to go straight to rehearsal afterwards. So that was a heck of a day with me, getting up early, going to Becker with Jonas, and then having to go to rehearsal, and then having Jonas at rehearsal,
Oh, that was a
and it was youth rehearsal. Like every time fan people end up at rehearsal, it always ends up being youth rehearsal because you ended up at a youth rehearsal too.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was you.
And my youth people are funny.
They are. That was a good group.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, it's mostly the same group. The only real difference is the adults, other than the kids. I mean, obviously there's kids at the youth rehearsal, but as far as the adults go, Janetti's not at the youth stuff, and I love Janetti, and Kendra's at the youth stuff, but Justin and Ebony and Eric and I are all at both of them.
Oh, Eric, of course.
Oh, Eric's cool.
Oh yeah, I know that because.
Heck of a great drummer too. You've
yeah.
heard Eric play, right, Pete?
Yes, well, I came to the
Yeah.
rehearsals, so obviously I did hear
His
what
timing is rock solid.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I've
Yeah, he certainly is.
I've never heard him go off the click.
Well, that's what y'all want. That guy, yeah, knows his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about him is because he doesn't have a practice space. He just has the church. He doesn't have a drum set at home or anything like that.
Okay.
So he learns the music by listening to it at work all day. And then he learns it and he baps out in his head, like he plays it in his head.
Yeah.
You know, and then but when he comes to church he knows it.
Oh yeah.
And like that's hard to do, to like practice it without actually playing it. Just do it in your
I
head.
have to do that too a lot.
Yeah.
So
Because you're also a good musician.
yeah, I have to do that too at times. Just
Seems to be the sign of somebody's a good drummer.
Yeah. You have to because you can't always you can't always take a set of drums home to practice.
right.
So you have to be able to
Yeah. Now I said to you, prior to the place we live in now, we had one of those 2000s mansion homes that they were building like crazy.
Yeah.
We had one of those, and that's where my drums were.
Yeah.
Alright, I think
At
is that
home.
all? Is that all?
Almost. I got one. Is that?
Was there a place for it?
I think that's it. They might just give you one spare.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they give you.
Two spare clips too.
Couple spares maybe.
Yeah, there's a spare right here.
That's probably a good thing.
Okay. Well, let's.
You want to wrap it up nicely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Nope, that's the
Okay.
remote.
Okay. Well, at least
Yeah.
one spare.
At least.
Alexa, it's time to film.
Okay.
Turn off.
Okay. Here, do me a favor, Pete, and put
That's what I'm trying to do.
You don't know what I was about to say, do you?
What?
Here, let me sneak past you.
Put the meter. Yeah, there we go. If you see any crystals that are badly smudged, you might want to.
I'm not gonna worry about the
Okay.
crystals. There's a million.
Pete, go towards this wall. Well, no, with the meter.
Oh,
Towards the wall, and then back, like towards Rick. That's actually pretty good.
I think maybe come a little bit.
Yeah, it reminds me of Pollyanna, but I don't. You guys haven't seen the movie
This one-
Pollyanna. There's a whole room of
Too
prisms.
much glare. Whoa.
Okay, well, learned your lesson there.
Well, yeah, you got.
Okay, let's start the video over. This is what